Good morning. Today we will discuss the topic banker and customer. Now, after going through this module, you will be able to understand about practical banking, meaning of banker and customer, and also the relationship between the banker and the customer. That is, the main objective of teaching this module is to make the students aware of practical banking, then the meaning of banker and customer, and also the relationship between the banker and the customer. Okay, so first of all, we will discuss about the banking industry. Okay, the banking industry occupies an important place in a nation's economy. A bank is an indispensable institution in a modern society. The development of any nation cannot be thought of without the active assistance rendered by the banks and financial institutions. The modern business and entrepreneurs cannot carry on the commercial activities without the different methods of financing done by the banks. Right from small businessmen up to the biggest business tycoons, they invariably depend upon the finance of different types given by the banks. So the important points related to the banking industry are: this banking industry occupies an important place in a nation's economy. Then they are indispensable for the modern society. Then they play an important role in the development of a nation. That is, the development of a nation is not possible without the active assistance rendered by banks and financial institutions. Now, it is essential for modern business and entrepreneurs. Then again, it is required right from small businessmen up to the biggest business tycoons. So this is regarding the importance of banking industry or the role of banking industry in the society. Now next is regarding the banker-customer relationship. Okay, this module deals with the banker-customer relationship, that is regarding the meaning of banker and customer, as well as the relationship between the banker and the customer. Now, the relationship between the banker and the customer starts right from the moment an account is opened, and it comes to an end immediately on closure of the account. Then the relationship stands established as soon as the contract is entered into, that is, when the contract is entered into between the banker and the customer. The nature of relationship between the banker and the customer depends upon the state of the customer's account. Now, to understand the relationship between the banker and the customer, first of all, we must know the meaning of banker and customer. Okay, so before understanding the meaning or before understanding the relationship between the banker and the customer, we must first of all understand who is a banker and who is a customer. Now, this is regarding the definition of the term banker. Now, the law does not define the term banker in a clear-cut manner. Now, the most famous definition for the term banker or the bank is given by Dr. H.L. Hart. That is, a widely accepted definition for the term banker or a bank is given by Dr. H.L. Hart. Now, according to Dr. H.L. Hart, a banker or a bank is a person or a company carrying on the business of receiving money and collecting drafts for customers, subject to the obligation of honoring checks drawn upon them from time to time by the customers to the extent of the amount available in their current accounts. So, the most famous definition, which is given by Dr. H.L. Hart, he has defined the term banker or a bank. That banker or a bank is a person or a company carrying on the business of receiving money and collecting draft for customers, subject to the obligation of honoring checks drawn upon them from time to time by the customers to the extent of the amount available in their current accounts. Now again, there is one more definition that is given by Sir John Paget. That is, another definition for the term bank is given by Sir John Paget. Now, according to Sir John Paget, no person or body corporate or otherwise can be a banker who does not take deposit accounts, take current accounts, issue and pay checks and collect checks crossed and uncrossed for his customers. Then he further added that if the banking business carried on by any person is subsidiary to some other business, he cannot be regarded as a banker. Okay, so these are the two important definitions for the term banker or a bank. Now, from both these definitions, we must know what are the essential features or essential characteristics of a banker or a bank. Now let us see what are the features of a banker. The first feature is acceptance of money on a current account and a collection of checks and drafts for the customers. So the first feature of a bank or a banker is acceptance of money on a current account and a collection of checks and drafts for the customers. Then secondly, payment of checks drawn by the customers which are essentially payable on demand. Then comes these instruments will be honored only to the extent of the amount available on the current account or to an agreed overdraft limit. So the feature acceptance of money on a current account and a collection of checks and drafts for the customers. Secondly, payment of checks drawn by the customers which are essentially payable on demand. But this obligation is only limited to the current account, that is the amount available in the current account or to an agreed overdraft limit. And finally, the banking business must be the main business of such person or a company. Only when these features or these conditions are fulfilled, then only a person can be called a banker and an institution can be called a bank. So it is very essential for a person to be called a banker or an institution to be called a bank. These obligations or these conditions should be fulfilled.